grateful to have had the privilege of engaging in patient-oriented research in both formal and informal ways since 2016. In my patient-engaged research journey, I am now working on aspects of knowledge translation. In the ongoing work I am doing around oral health care and non-evident disability, I have been guided by a few different identities I am privileged to hold. These privileges have allowed me to reflect on my needs and on my perceptions of others facing similar, but distinct challenges from mine, actively reflecting on what I perceive as possibly shared intersectionalities. I realize I am not traveling alone in my journey toward more accessible primary care. As an artist who is learning more ways photographic and other visual art allows me to unpack Gestalt language I need to receive through participatory dialogue, which I must interact with in visual ways over long periods of time to comprehend what is being communicated in the information I receive, or what I endure in a given situation. Meeting my needs to process information visually continues to lead my photographic collage practice. In collage, I hold distinct, competing, and often contradictory perspectives simultaneously. In reflecting on information this way, guided by my sensory processing, executive function challenges, and comprehension deficits, I am becoming aware of ways which are helping me overcome barriers to my own oral healthcare. Ways I hope to shortly apply to help me access other parts of the primary care system. As my dad's primary care partner for the last year of his life, I was privileged to understand a shared risk from a perspective different from the ones I had developed before this part of my life. My understanding of risk, which the environment shares equitably among all parties, is how I comprehend one aspect of a successful approach to accommodation. As I learn more about the field of environmental communications through reflective collage work, I find I draw a lot on my experiences and the privilege of volunteering at a respite care center. Over time, as I continue volunteering at these centers, I am learning to use participatory co-design as a strategy to support environmental dialogue with everyone present in the space. Supporting programming at these centers has helped me understand that what I thought were unique needs that were mine alone to carry and attempt to meet were, in fact, in many ways, shared by others I was interacting with. My work leading garden programming for individuals with a variety of evident and non-evident disability continues to help me refine my ideas about participatory dialogue, where iterations of and variations on call and response cycles help me realize that the communications I need in primary healthcare environments to function as an autistic person are more universally needed everywhere. I am grateful that plants are forgiving teachers, allowing me to try various approaches, so I can reflect on what is working well for me through my collage work. By contrasting what I am experiencing with the privileges that come with knowing another in reciprocally empowering, mutually validating ways, I realize I am not alone. As an autistic person, who lives with significant executive function challenges, struggling to comprehend somewhere between 40 to 75% of all communications and the information they contain, frustrates me. Discovering that I have many tendencies toward Gestalt language processing through many hundreds of hours of collage work, spread across 2 completed collages and a work in progress, I have learned to use language as a self-advocate. With outside support, I continue validating the sensory challenges I live with when I add them to the communication, executive function, and comprehension difficulties I live with. I find primary healthcare environments often become overwhelming. Through patient-engaged research, after 10 or more years of hard work, I finally have ways of describing to others and more awareness for myself of what happens when sensory overwhelm shuts down my functionality in primary healthcare environments. To have others validate for me that when a dental clinical environment overwhelms me to the point I appear to the clinician to have fallen asleep when I am actually disassociating from our environment, validated years of frustration, and what I am slowly learning, that I could use language that other types of trauma survivors use, specific to their lived experiences, to describe what I used to endure when interacting with oral healthcare providers. While reluctant to use this language myself, as I want to respect what these survivors have endured, I realize, carefully and respectfully, that by borrowing underlying concepts, including ideas of privilege, I am finding opportunities where my lived experience can help others. Over my journey as a patient partner so far, I have been privileged to contribute in many formal and less formal ways to healthcare provider education. Through these opportunities, I have learnt a lot about the challenges I face in the healthcare system. In the process, I repeatedly validate some of the approaches I understand, which help me function in environments which overload my functional abilities. As I reach natural transition points in my journey to successfully find accessible primary care, I want to contribute my understanding of an approach to participatory dialogic communication and its related concept of co-regulatory care to the community I am privileged to identify with. I realize, through repeated interactions with others, that the approach I am now articulating may help many, not just me. I am not yet sure enough it is worth my investing more of my time to continue advocating for this reciprocal way of interacting in both primary care and community living environments. To support my decision-making around my dream of inclusion, I realize through participatory co-design that I can collaboratively develop practices which allow us to explore concepts meaningfully. Through these concepts, I hope to learn what are the core principles of my dream of inclusion. What ideas hold space and presence for minor variations on the same theme to develop, so we may experience genuinely inclusive healthcare.